Close your eyes. And when I say this statement, I want you to comment the name that comes to your mind first. And then, if you want, you can add an additive comment later or edit the comment to see if this video, when you reach the end, it changes your mind. But here we go. Strongest non-irregular in the tower. What name popped up in your brain? Let me know. Now, the reason that I'm having this conversation is because me and the boys were talking, Glam, Vince, East, and Miles said that Lucek is probably the strongest non-irregular in the tower, and that made perfect sense to me. Whether he is the strongest non-irregular remains to be seen, but if that were the case, I actually don't think that's nonsensical in any capacity. But I had to throw in 3 other names in there in the hat. But before I mention who those other 3 people are, I want to say this. I made a video called The Strongest in the Tower. And what I did in that video is I said, removing irregulars and Jahad princesses, I want you to solely look at statements and feats that we got within the webtoon itself that you have visibly seen, and tell me who you think the strongest character is. Solely due to the webtoon. I'm talking like visuals, art, and literature, not blog posts, really anything like that. And I chose Caliban. Whether or not you agree with that, you can go watch that video and see if you agree with what I had to say. But I wanted to make it clear that this is not the same video that I'm making. This is different. The rules are different. I believe Odori and Moloka are the 3 names you have to throw into the hat as well. So let's talk about it. It
don't matter though. Young nigga from Canada, brought from that bullshit and go like a matador.
I want to give a shout out and honorable mention to Bayak Ryun because I believe, like Evan, he's mostly there due to his position and influence, not necessarily his combat strength, but I don't want to downplay the fact that he's a 9 overall and the fact that he is a very talented wave controller. We know he's pretty much self-taught, and I believe that he doesn't have the destructive capability and ability to like accelerate Shinsu a la Gustang or like Bam probably when he's at full power, or Erasia. However, what I do believe is that his control and technique is immaculate. And we know that his hand-to-hand combat is nothing to sneeze at, but unfortunately he hasn't fought with too many high-rankers, so we can't properly measure his combat strength. But I didn't want to diss him. I wanted to mention him just in case. I want to start with Odori. Odori is the leader of the Jahad army and RED, right? And she's significant because she has the only S rank 13-month series, and as a Jahad princess, if you are awarded one of the 13-month series, it's because you're special. There's only 13 of these, and there are more than 13 Jahad princesses in the tower. Therefore, if you complete the climb and you're awarded one of these, it's because you are exceptional even amongst princesses. She also beat a ranker when she was an A rank regular. You got to keep that in mind. She's very impressive and powerful. She happens to be number 7 in the tower, which I think is very significant. We don't know Odori's true family name, but she has some pretty impressive feats, and the fact that she leads 2 of the pretty much biggest organizations that is directly connected to the king, and she commands a lot of respect and a lot of reverence, and she's supposed to be actually like super beautiful as well, I believe is very significant. So if I'm throwing in a candidate for someone who's possibly stronger or as strong as, let's say, Lucek, I believe that Odori is one of them, and I can't wait to see her in action. As a complete side note, I think this is Bam's love interest, based on what Rand said back in season 2. Moloka 1 PGR is one of the weird names in the tower, but you have to understand that he essentially is the person who is running the entire tower because Jahad tends to be inactive and gives his orders out. There are 3 lords that tend to kind of circulate in terms of who is running the tower, and Moloka is the oldest. He's the oldest of all of them, the most ancient, and he was already a lord before all of these things happen. It's said that he wields a great halberd, and he doesn't even care about positions. He kind of fights without even taking in the concept of what a position is. Think about the fact that this is kind of in a lot of ways Jahad's most trusted person who's not an irregular. You have to give him credit. You know he's powerful as hell. I can't wait to see him in action. I think that because of his faith and his dutiful carrying out of Jahad's orders too, his recognition and influence is high, which is why it's as high as 12, higher than some family heads. That being said, though, I do think that he is one of the strongest non-irregulars in the tower. Next, let's talk about Lucek. Lucek to me makes a lot of sense because he actually climbed with the 13 Great Warriors. He was close to V, Arlene. He knows about Bam and things of that nature. What I am going to say here is pure headcanon. I think what makes Lucek the most dangerous non-irregular may not necessarily be his overall combat strength, but because he traveled with irregulars and was close to V, I think he's naturally one of the people who understands what they're capable of better than anyone else. People tend to be really shocked by what Bam can do and Shinwan Ryu and techniques of that sort. I believe Lucek would not be shocked by those things. He understands the absurdity of what it is to be an irregular. Therefore, I just think he has a better way of dealing with it in comparison to other people in the tower who were born inside the tower. Does that make sense? He's a leader of F.U.G, the most, notorious terrorist organization, if you will, and a close friend of V. I believe V had taught him and shown him things and gave him items that makes him very dangerous. I don't think that he can actually fight a family head, but he's strong enough that if he moves and makes any type of plan, a family head moves with him. You have to take that into consideration. The last person who I'm throwing in the ring is obviously Erasia and Jahad. And the reason that I pick her is because her literal, I know that a lot of the Ha family members who are a direct descendant of Urin and Arihan are probably also mixed, but I do think that the union between these two is very significant, especially since they're both supposed to be very powerful defensive and offensive wave controllers. And I know that she is not a wave controller, she's actually a fisherman, but I do think her Shinshu control is probably naturally really good due to Erasia and Gustang being her parents. Her being sealed away, ranked number 7, people wondering if she could beat Odori or could Odori beat her, is very significant. And the things that she knows because of Arlene's pocket, I also think makes her pretty dangerous. And she is somebody who was taken over by the ghosts of the 13-month series because she tried to activate 2 at the same time, and the sentient part of the Cultist December went berserk and she was sealed away, but important enough not to be killed. I don't know if that's because Jahad didn't want to cause any problems with Gustang, which ended up happening anyways in Erasia, but I do think it's significant that he was more so disappointed and didn't want to kill her, so he chose to seal her away. Truthfully be told, I think that her immense strength just comes from her lineage. I'm not going to overcomplicate why I think she's as powerful as she is. But she was awarded the 13-month series weapon, which is a needle inventory, which is different from the other ones, I believe, and things of that nature. So I just think all of those things are probably important in terms of overall determining her maximum strength and things. So, that being said, to wrap it all up, Lucek, Anne, Odori, and Moloka, I believe, are one of the 4 candidates that are the strongest non-irregulars in the tower. If you want to throw in Bayek Ryun as this weird honorable mention, I'm not mad at that, but I do not think he can mess with those four people. One is the leader of Jahad's empire. One is the leader of someone who's trying to take down what Jahad has built, and 2 of them are princesses who even have ranks higher than other irregulars, and so do the other 2. So you got to give them all credit in their own right. Whether you believe some of that is mostly recognition, influence, and or power, or a proper combination of all of those things remains to be seen. Though I do want to state that I believe at this point in the series that recognition and influence actually play more into your ranking than power does. I think power is the least important thing you are judged on by the ranking administration bureau. I think it goes influence, recognition, then power, but if not, power would be second. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and I'm going to be out. Peace. Shout out to all of my patrons, my CBLs, the priests of fire, but especially my tier 3 subscribers, the 5th Zan Gods. Shout out to Sunny Kathapali, Simi, Shoddy to Your Body, Scobe, Revenant, Miles, Chris, Cayenne, Triss, Chromizone, Abdal, and my boy Alan. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you.